Hi, Fahima.
Hi, Luis. How
How
are
you
you?
doing? Good.
Good.
And you?
I'm doing good. Good. Thank you.
Thank you, Fahima, for talking to me here. And as we spoke before, I have some quick questions for you to know better who you are and your journey until today, okay?
Yeah, sure. My pleasure.
First, Fahima, can you please introduce yourself and what you are doing? What is Wise?
Yeah, I'm Fahima. I'm co-founder and CEO of WiseWord. And WiseWord is the AI soft skills trainer. These days, all startups are creating a new agent, new AI to replace human being. And the big question is, what's the role of human being? And so we are using AI to help human being. So we believe at the end, we are supposed to be human in all the trends that we have experienced. We survive as a human, and in AI trend as well, we are supposed to be human. So because of this, we created Wise.
Okay, good. And what's your background and your education background, also professional background? Can you talk a little bit about that as
Yeah,
well?
I have a master degree in English literature and I have MBA, but among actually this educational background, I had this opportunity to work with neuroscientists as my first entrepreneurship actually experience, and that was a great opportunity to learn how the brain works, how we can build new habits, how we can actually reform and change our habits. So that experience was kind of a influence for actually creating Wise, which is kind of a new habit, how we can actually change our soft skills and improve it as a habit day by day. And after that, I actually started a creative studio that we started from scratch from Iran, and then we expanded to other Middle Eastern countries like Turkey and Dubai, and then to Europe like Germany and Ireland. And then those experiences were not scalable business. And in Corona time, we thought, okay, let's go for a new challenge. Let's go for a scalable business and how we can actually, start the startups and go for a scale. And so because of this, we started WiseWorld. And so it was the new challenge for my life.
Okay, and your co-founders, they are from Iran as well.
Yes, exactly.
And when did you decide to move abroad, so to leave Iran,
Mhm.
and why? And why you choose Portugal as well?
Yeah. I always wanted to work internationally. So I didn't want to limit myself to a country. I love to actually to grow. And because of the sanctions that happen in Iran, it wasn't possible to have a international business inside of Iran, unfortunately. And so I started to look around which country has the most potential to move and actually build a business there. So we had different options, of course, in Europe, in actually North America. And finally, we decided to move to Portugal because first thing first, honestly, we saw that Portugal ecosystem is growing and we thought we can be part of this growth. So it's a good opportunity to be, have a role in this growth of the ecosystem. And after that, we were actually exploring about actually how is the quality of living in Portugal. And so as an immigrant, as you're starting from zero, if I don't want to say below zero, so you have to actually reduce the challenges. So I believe Portugal has this possibility because Portugal has good people and good weather. So these two actually criteria was enough for us as a safe infrastructure, as a safe background to build our business and grow internationally.
Nice. You mentioned sanctions, right? And you for people that are not quite aware about that, you feel like you struggle with sanctions right now, even out of Iran, and how you deal with such situations in your journey.
Yeah. So yeah, the sanction is, as you mentioned, it's not sanction on, official sanction on Iranian people, but always you have actually limitation for, traveling to some countries, and it's not as easy as, European. So you always have this, but it's part of us, and we cannot change it. So we say, okay, let's solve these challenges one by one. And this immigration process for us was a kind of a new startup. So a new startup, but more boring and less creative, because with the startup like Wise World, we have this opportunity to try different actually angles, to be creative and grow it. But for actually immigration, it has more uncertainty as a startup, but you have less actually role to change things and less creativity to solve the challenges. So we are looking at this actually situation like this, that it's a kind of a side a startup that we need to solve the problem, but with a slower speed to be calm. And so this is the situation of the immigration, I can say.
Yeah, yeah. As I am in myself, I think the same about we need to fix on the battles we need to fight, and we have a lot of
Exactly.
things solved, like food, of life, education, other stuff. And in addition to be from Iran, have you felt something about being a woman founder as
Mm.
well? Any challenge?
Honestly, I'm not really feeling it consciously. Maybe unconsciously it is happening and I'm not aware of it. But it's not actually my personality to be focused on, biases or stigmas that you are female, so you are going to have this restriction, this limitation. I don't put focus on them. So I have a goal and I want to reach to a specific actually success, and I get focused on that. So because of this, I don't feel it. I try to approach people to introduce my startup to them. If unconsciously it is happening, I'm not aware of it because it's not my focus. I'm focused on actually people that are really helping and understanding. And if people don't understanding, I don't want to change their mind. And so I don't feel that it's because of my gender. But, I'm hearing that this is something that I try to be cautious about it, be conscious about it, that sometimes, when you are a woman, the questions are more passive than proactive. For example, in a proactive way, people ask, how do you want to do it? But in a passive way, they say, can you do it? So I have just this simple heuristic. If someone approach me with a passive question and questioning my ability, okay, this person is not the right person. And I don't consider it as a gender base. So I think it can happen to everyone, but maybe it's more common for women. But I'm saying it's the only heuristic that I try to stick to it and then make decision and move forward.
Yeah, yeah, I see. And do you have any people that influence you, like benchmark, a reference for you as a founder, as an immigrant, whatever? So there are people that you try to follow or to
Yeah. There are many, around 10 million Iranian people are living outside of Iran. And I can say the Persian tech community is the third big community in US. So they are all actually success track that I can say. So when I face challenges, in terms of the sanction, in terms of the immigration and this stuff, when I think about them, so somebody has already done it. So it's possible. I can do it as well. So there are actually different immigrants in actually specifically North America and a little less in Europe, that they have passed these barriers and they are actually unicorns and successful startups, successful businesses. So I always actually look at them and say, okay, it's possible. I just need to be focused.
yeah. And you see that I don't know if it's right now, but probably you are also one example for other people. And from
I hope
around
so.
girls and tech people, it's and then you think about that a little bit. So how do you behave as an example for younger founders as well?
One thing that I learned as I got more and more mature in this actually business journey is to get focus on your goal and focus on job to be done. And so, to see your goal, to see where do you want to reach, and try to be focused. And focus only is the only thing that can be helpful in this journey, I believe, because it's marathon. We all know it's not actually something that you want to reach it fast, and it's not possible. It's a marathon. You need to adjust your energy and your focus. And so if you get distracted, of course, it's not a huge actually disaster, but you need to find strategies to get back to the focus and, be sure about what you are doing. And because of this, I have actually, because we are working all the time, specifically because one of my co-founder is my husband. And so we don't have any actually challenges to work all the time. So we have this privilege to have freedom to work. But in order to balance our energy, we have actually some habits that we stick to them that is kind of helpful for us to be focused. For example, we go to gym at least 3 times per week. This actually muscle building is kind of a good habit that helps us to get out of the work and get focused on ourselves and then get back to the focus zone. So this is one of the habits. Another habit is healthy diet. We are very concerned about diet, what we are eating, because what we are eating is who we are. It totally impact our performance, our energy, our focus. So we are actually really, because of the background of the neuroscience that I have, I know that healthy diet how is helpful for the success and to be actually focused on the goal. And so these two habits are helpful for us to be focused. These are static points in our life. Startup is uncertainty, full of up and down. We go up and down in those areas, but we have some fixed actually points in our life that helps us to survive this up and down journey of startup.
Nice, nice. Thank you. And going back a little bit to Wisewood, your company,
Mhm.
and can you mention what are your goals for Wisewood for the short term, but also for the long term, the vision you have for Wisewood?
Yeah. You know, the point is, first thing first is that people have misunderstanding of soft skills. People confuse soft skills with personality. When you say soft skills, "Oh, okay, it's personality, it's very difficult to change it." It's not true. It's exactly like technical skills. You cannot be a Python developer by watching a video, by actually coding once per month, once per year, and say, okay, I'm a Python developer. It's not possible. This is true about soft skills as well. So first thing first, we are actually trying to clarify that these are skills. And like the other skills, you need to create a habit practice to improve them. Because what is happening about soft skills is that when do we use our soft skills? When you are in a critical moment in your life. You are supposed to close a very sensitive deal, when you are actually resolving a very challenging conflict. uh, you know, you are supposed to be the perfect conflict resolver, or be a, I don't know, perfect negotiator. It's not possible. Like technical skills, you need to practice these skills to improve them and be ready for the actually critical moment. So because of this, Wise World is a kind of a simulator that without any judgment, you can actually see how do you act in this critical moment and have understanding and confidence on your skills, and to see how you can actually use these tools, because these skills are like your tools, how use these tools in your critical moment. So this is kind of what we are doing right now. But if we want to look a little longer time, the point is, when you are talking about technical skills, people, for example, you can go in depth. I'm a developer. This is the coding actually. This is the stack, and you can go in depth. But for soft skills, there is no depth and there is no proof for your depth, for your experience. So we want, because we have a wheel chart in WiseWord that we call it Power Wheel, 44 soft skills. We want to help each individual have one of these power wheel to know the depths of their skills. For example, if you ask a person now which skills you are good at, they say, I'm good at communication. What do you mean by communication? Communication has at least 15 subcategories. We want to help each individual to have nuances and the depths of their skills. like technical skills.
Yeah, and for those soft skills and subsets that you just mentioned, you are based in academic research as well, right? To get
Yeah.
that information.
Yeah, that was actually the starting point because soft skills is very actually diverse. There is no base for soft skills. Each company is creating different list of competencies that if you move from one company to another, the list is different. So first thing first, we created a base for actually communicating these skills. And so this base that is coming from our research has 44 soft skills. And then all different competencies that companies are defining or designing actually has a root to the base that we have created. For example, companies have coachability or positive feedback as competencies. But when you are talking about positive feedback, it's not one skill. It's a complex skill. It's a combination of active listening and empathy. So we have created the base that this base can be adjusted to all the list of the competencies that companies have created.
Nice, nice, interesting. And if
Mm.
someone is curious about how the wise word and that wheel works, it's easy to test it, to download the app and test it by like self-service
Yeah,
approach.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, they can actually go to wiseword.ai. And so on our landing page, they can access to the platform. So they have actually free access to some part of the journey is free. So they can actually experience it and to see how it can help them.
Okay, Fahima. So I have just two questions before we finish here. One is
Yes.
about your personal skills. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious and I'd like to know about what are your your best soft skills and the others that you need to still to improve.
Okay. Yeah, this is something very interesting even for myself when I noticed for the first time what are my best soft skills. So my best soft skills, first thing first, is critical thinking in cognitive abilities category. That is, before Wiseword, I was sure that it's my style, my approach to any, new situation, to any person, that asking questions. And then I noticed this is critical thinking. So I always question things. So this is my best skill. And after that is active listening. It's very easy for me to listen to people and then ask questions. So it's combination of these two skills is very, core in my actually approach, as core of my soft skills. But as a CEO, as an entrepreneur, of course, I need to improve more critical actually skills. For example, I need to improve my coaching skills in leadership or decision autonomy, um, because I'm supposed to make hard decisions. So I really need to improve these two skills. So we can actually talk more, but just let me tell you this point. Soft skills are like toolbox. When in your toolbox, you only have hammer, you want to solve all the problems with just only one hammer. So I'm trying to diverse my skills, and then choose the right tool for the right situation. And so, before Wise World, I was only asking questions and listening. So these are good tools. But what if I want to have more right tools for the right actually situation? I'm
Yeah,
trying to diverse my
it's
tools.
interesting what you just said because recently I heard from a kids teacher that the traditional approach for helping them to improve in such skills is wrong. Because, for example, if a kid is struggling with math, you need to have math classes and math practice and whatever. But perhaps if that kid has theater or sports class, he will improve in math as well. So there's an indirect correlation between different skills that's not
Yes.
obvious, but it connects what you just said. And personally, I like to read a lot of books, but non technical books, and also listen to different kinds of podcasts, but regarding movies or sports or gaming. And that content also helps me to improve even in technical skills. It's like
Yes.
an approach that personally I believe, and it's good to hear that that toolbox that you mentioned is quite connected with that approach. And The final question is about this. What do you have as a recommendation for the people regarding contents like books, movies, podcasts? What do you
Mm.
consume and you would recommend for people?
Yeah. Honestly, I don't have any strict list for actually learning outside of Wise World. For Wise World, of course, I have a list that I really need to actually keep updated myself. Outside of Wise World, I give myself this freedom to enjoy and follow my interests. For example, I really like to know uh, to learn about geopolitics. And so in my freedom on my weekend, definitely I go on YouTube and search about, geopolitics, how is the role of each country. I really enjoy it. And or I don't know, listening to stand-up comedies. I really enjoy it, to see how they can actually make fun and see things different, in a very genius way. So I believe this is the way our brain works. You have some focus points. You get focused on what you are doing and what you want to reach. And then in your default mode that you are not focused, let's be free. Let's be, creative. Do whatever you like. Don't restrict yourself to a specific path to grow yourself. And then, because it's our default mode network in our brain, when you let your brain to be free, you find, as you were mentioning, you find something that is totally unrelated, but in your brain, the neurons get connected and say, oh, okay, yeah, this is actually analogy that I can use for my work, and I really like this freedom. So my recommendation is not any specific list, but just let yourself to be free outside of your focus zone. In this way, you can find an analogy that can help you to be creative and see situations in better angle.
Okay, fine. Thank you so much. And I'm really appreciate that you accepted my
My
invitation to
pleasure.
talk to me. Thank you,
Of
and I
course, my
wish you
pleasure.
all the best. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a nice day. Ciao.